invocation this morning. Heavenly Father, we're thankful for all the blessings you give us, and we're grateful to be able to take care of the county's business here today. We ask for your wisdom and your direction. Help us to be good stewards over the county's business here. We do pray for all those who have COVID. We know it's going around. We just ask you to be with them, to heal them quickly. We pray for no long-term effects, that they'd be restored to full health. We also pray for this drought we're going through, and we ask you, Lord, to send some rain, and certainly to protect those, all our homes and property from fires that could pop up so quickly. Thank you, Lord, for all you do for us. We do pray in Jesus' name. Amen. Amen. Now join me in the pledge to the United States flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Now the Texas flag. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible. Thank you. All right, do we have any announcements? Any announcements today? Anybody, anything special going on we need to know about? I'll make one. We did post our budget last week. It is online. If you haven't looked at it, please do. If you have any questions, comments, let us know. Are there any public comments today? Anybody from the public that want to talk about something that's on the agenda? Have any forms. We do have a quorum present today. Present and voting, Precinct 1 is Commissioner Hatfield, Precinct 2 is Commissioner Timmons, Sims presiding, Precinct 3 is Commissioner Malden, and Precinct 4 is Commissioner Ebar. We'll call our meeting to order. It is 9:06 a.m. here on the 29th day of August. We're in the historic courthouse in the Commissioner's courtroom. Our first item on our agenda is from our auditor. This is administrative report.
I was expecting that to be on the next agenda. I don't have an administrative report.
Well, why don't we just do it next time then?
Okay.
We'll
My
go ahead and
apologies.
skip to number 2. That's consideration and approval and payment of regular bills, although I've got I think our first item here probably should have been line item transfers. What do you think?
It is.
Oh, I see it down there. I'm sorry. Number 1, consideration approval regarding line item transfers. I was overlooking it.
Okay. I am requesting, transferring $116,406.64 between line items in the general fund.
Is there a motion to approve? Motion by Commissioner Timmons, second by Commissioner Ebar. You guys have had a chance to look through these. Any questions or comments on our line item transfers? If not, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, the motion passes 5-0. In my opening comments, I should have thanked you, Commissioner Hatfield, for filling in for me 2 weeks ago. I do appreciate you doing that. Yes, sir. Item number 2 is consideration and approval of payment of regular bills.
Requesting payment of $1,586,429.20. Over $800,000 is related to road construction projects that we have going on.
Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second. Motion by Commissioner Hatfield, second by Commissioner Malden. Any questions or comments on our regular bills? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, that motion passes 5-0. Number 3 is consideration and approval of payroll for August 18, 2023.
Motion.
Motion by Commissioner Hatfield, second by Commissioner Timmons. Any questions or comments on our payroll?
Could I make a couple of comments on the new system we're implementing?
Yes, please.
Okay, we have gone live with the new time tracking system on Monday. So we're no longer going to be using multiple systems for the employees to enter time. We're going to, this last prior 2 weeks, we were in parallel. And we've done some cleanup. HR's done a lot of cleanup in our employee records because we didn't realize certain things needed to be done. So there's been cleanup done in our employee records. We've configured the system in both production and test. So this Thursday we have a meeting with Tyler to process our first payroll in the new system. So it seems to be going well. There's some glitches in when employees are using their cell phones because the cell phones aren't tracking their current location. And so it's somewhere else, and we have it to where most employees have to be close to their working location before they can clock in. That does not, of course, apply to the sheriff's department because they're the exception, but most everyone else has to be close to their location where they work. So it seems to be going well. We've gotten positive feedback, of course. So I'm happy with it so far.
Super.
So we thank you for funding that. I greatly appreciate it.
We did the easy part, y'all. I've been doing the heavy lifting, so thank y'all. Thank y'all. Any other questions or comments on our payroll? We have a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, that passes 5-0. Item number 4 is consideration and action to accept, certify new revenue, and approve a budget amendment pursuant to Local Government Code 111.0108 for supplement reimbursement received by Harrison County Juvenile Services in the amount of $217,558 and approve the associated expenditure line items.
This is money that just was deposited in our account, and we had to go find out what it was related to.
That's a good problem.
That was a very good problem. What's even better is there's no restrictions on spending. It's a reimbursement for time that juveniles remained in our location before they were transported to a state facility. So this is for FY22 and FY23. So we are very fortunate. Juvenile has been spending it to purchase desks, to purchase computers, some things that they've needed desperately out there. So it's being used they're being very frugal, but they're getting some things that needed out there.
Plenty of places to spend it out there.
Yes, so it truly was a surprise, and we're very appreciative of it.
Is this something we get every year?
No.
Have we ever gotten this before?
No, this is the first, that's why it surprised us all.
Who applied? Did Ms. Kirkland apply for this, or?
Not that I'm aware of. It's
One of those state funds that they've caught so much flack on, the holding of juveniles and prisoners, so hopefully the jail might get
Well,
some.
that'd be great too, wouldn't it?
So like I said, it just appeared in our account,
Wow.
and it took us a while to figure out, and then it's like, what can we spend it on? And what's the reporting? And there's no reporting required, and there's no restrictions on spending.
Great.
Wow.
All right. Good news. Is there a motion to approve? Motion by Commissioner Ebar, second by Commissioner Malden. Any other questions or comments? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed?
Thank you.
Thank you. Hearing none, that passes 5-0. Next up, from the Road and Bridge Department. This is our 2023 construction completed and in progress report.
Good morning, Your Honor.
Good morning.
Commissioners, how y'all doing today?
Good.
Hope y'all enjoying this break in the weather.
It is good.
We continue to move forward with our construction plan for 2023. Since our last report, we've completed 28.815 miles of seal coat and reconstruction. This is county forces and contractors together. The cavers had come back and picked up those few roads that they still had on their list. They were on Davidson yesterday. Had problems with their distributor truck again, of course. So they had to go back. There was a spot we made them redo, so they should be finishing it up. But that'll complete their work that they've had in progress the last couple of years.
Have you been out there?
Yes.
Somebody go check it?
Yes.
There was a lot of strips down the center, yesterday morning when I went along.
Yeah, they got some touch up to do. They finished up Harris Road in Long John, and they were fine. They started having troubles with their distributor truck, of course. But they are out there today, matter of fact, finishing it up. Yes, sir. And we'll let it set a while, and of course, we'll go back and inspect it and make them do any warranty work they gotta do. And Rayford's should complete their seal coat projects this week or midweek next week. Then he's gonna go back and start on Macedonia Road. And he'll get Macedonia Road and chip seal that far end of James Marshall. Then he'll move on to Mount Pleasant Cutoff. So he's moving along pretty good. So the road work's been pretty good this year.
Is there any reason why he's going to Macedonia instead of airline?
Well, simply because he's gonna chip seal that far end of James Marshall. So he'll have his forces already right there. So, I mean, if that's your preference, I can talk to him and get him to go pick up Airlight first.
No, I just wanna make sure that we get some of it done.
Oh, yes, it's definitely gonna get done. So he's moving along pretty good, you know. Like I say, that oil for those projects, we can use in weather that's, 40 and above. So they're predicting some more hot weather coming up. I think next week it's supposed to be back up over 100,
Well, if the
so.
rain stays like it has been, we'll have quite a while for him to finish.
That's right. So it's turning out to be a good summer. We've come a long ways, and they did strap the Page Road. I don't know if y'all been out there to see it. It turned out excellent.
Who did, or what did we do on Blackjack?
We chip sealed it from 59 all the way up to Pope City Road.
And who did that?
That was Rayford.
Rayford, okay. I had a call and they said it was fantastic, really nice.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, I hadn't been up there, but I need to check it out.
Yeah, the other end of Blackjack so dried up it wouldn't hold a chip seal. That's one we're probably gonna have to get up and redo before we can chip seal it. But yes,
We had rebuilt in the last year or two from 59 back to Fort Pope.
yes, sir.
Did we get all the way to it or just, we got a
No,
mile last year?
yeah, we were about 3/4 of a mile before Pope City. So we just incorporated that other section into our chip seal, and it blended in to make it all look the same. It turned out really well.
Good. Any other questions for Mr. Davis on his progress report?
I just got a question, Mr. Davis, on, Old Town Road. We've had that water leak up there near the church there by Four Corners.
Yes, sir.
Has any action been taken on that yet?
Yes, I spoke with them yesterday. So instead of digging the road up to patch that, they're gonna just it's just a single service. They're gonna do a road bore going to the church and just leave the old line there. So we'll go in there and we'll dig out, or Rayford's will dig out, however much we gotta dig out to get a good solid base right there. And then they'll fix it and go back over it with a chip seal. But the spot's probably about the size of a wheelbarrow,
Yeah.
It's not very big, but they're.
It stays wet,
Yeah.
though, all the time. But anyway, you're on top of that?
Yes, sir.
Okay, all right. Thank you, sir.
Any other questions? On to item number 1, this is consideration and approval of personnel changes for Harrison County Road and Bridge Department.
We've had one position change, 4 resignations since our last court meeting. As of this date, we have 7 full-time vacancies, 1 part-time vacancy, 2 temporary slots that are open, and this week will be the last week for our summer help. So we're still very short-handed, but we're still going on forward.
You're making it, huh? All right, is there a motion to approve?
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Ebarb, second by Commissioner Timmons. Any other questions or comments on our personnel report? If not, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, that passes 5-0. Item number 2 is consideration and approval of the utility application submitted to Harrison County Road and Bridge Department as follows. E-Tex Telephone Co-op on Edmondson Road, which is County Road 4600. East Tex Telephone Cooperative on Riley Road, which is County Road 1144. Gum Springs WSC on Lawrence Road, which is County Road 3520. East Tex Telephone Co-op on American Plant Road, which is County Road 1104. And E-Tex Telephone Co-op on Davidson Road, which is County Road 4501.
Yes, sir, all these applications have been reviewed and they meet our specifications outlined in our utilities app. The one on Lawrence is it's a water service, and the others are just fiber optic.
All right, is there a motion to approve?
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Ebarb, second by Commissioner Hatfield. Any questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, that passes 5-0. Item number 3 is consideration and action to approve the final plat for Oram Slough, the subdivision off of Shelley Road, which is County Road 2406 in Precinct 1.
Yeah, Road and Bridge Department's presenting this to the Commissioners Court today, the final plat of Oram Slough subdivision. All the requirements in the subdivision regulations have been met. The water for Oram Slough will be provided through a private water well. You know, the Harrison County subdivision ordinance doesn't specifically address water sources, but, you know, we acknowledge that the water source is a basic necessity, while not the typically water source in a FEMA-designed floodplain. This is the only option available at this time for that development. And there's been discussion with the developer regarding a private water well in the floodplain. And Mr. Orm is aware of the requirements from TCEQ, TDLR, and FEMA regarding such, and he's accepted the liability of it.
Very good. Mr. Orm, you're here today for this project, and the Commissioner and I, we had some questions about the installation and how suitable water wells would be in that floodplain. And I understand you visited with the water well company, your engineer, and you got all those specced so that they are approved for use in the floodplain. And I just want you to know we appreciate you doing that, as we want to protect your folks out there as well as the neighbors around.
So even before all this came up, we had full water well service go out there. Because I wanted to, I had a couple of backup plans, I used to drill a new well, use the existing well. So they jetted it, make sure there's enough water, enough supply, all of them.
Very good.
So right now, the only thing we really have to do is just raise the platform and basically just bring it to the current standards.
All right. Well, thank you for taking care of that. We appreciate it very much.
And I'd like to thank Ms. Benson for working with us on
Yes.
that too. We had a meeting with Ms. Benson on that. She was back and forth. She was our go-to person on it and did a good job on that. Thank you, Lisa. Good,
Yep.
good deal. Well,
So the sewer systems, do they have to be designed a different way as far as being in a floodplain? 'Cause, I mean, that'd be a concern.
Sure. I can't speak to the sewer systems, but I'm sure you can tell us about them.
I don't personally know exactly what they have to do, but there are other things that have to be done in a floodplain, to
That's right.
That side.
Right, so that's
not, yeah.
As part of the subdivision review, when it comes through our office, OSS has to be provided a plan and a subdivision application to say the type of systems will be put in, and that's part of the exhibits.
Oh, okay.
The plans have been provided, they've been reviewed, they've got to be permitted, but that's all been addressed.
Okay.
You'll see Ms. Moranto's letter in there, that may be what you're looking at, right there.
Okay.
Very good. Any other questions? Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Hatfield, second by Commissioner Timmons. If there are no other questions or comments, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, passes 5-0. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
I think that's all
Thank
I
you,
got.
Mr. Davis.
Thank y'all.
I guess we'll pass this, but this is 6 lots out of 135 acres. How big are lots is he said?
They're small.
It's half acre. He did that in order to comply with the FEMA regulation that says if it's more than 50 lots or 5 acres, you have to have a detailed study done. So he did that. There's 3 lots for future development that he's planning on giving to family members.
All right, on to the Sheriff's Department. Item number 1 is consideration and approval of a resolution indicating a desire for Harrison County to enter into an interlocal agreement with TxDOT regarding the transfer of a 60-foot by 60-foot tract of land hereinafter known as the FM 449 Iron Ore Hill Tower Site, the construction of a 350-foot tower, and purchase of radio equipment intended to connect with the Tex Warren system. Good morning.
Good morning. That was a mouthful, wasn't it,
Yes.
Judge? Yes, sir. Well, that's exactly what this is, and it's our intent to partner with TxDOT in order to get this tower site up. As y'all know, this is just one of the many parts of our new radio system that's got to go in place. Through all of our research and everything, we discovered that the tower that we have out there currently is too rickety and too old to support the equipment that they need to install. Plus, we couldn't find anybody that was willing to even climb it if it was. So we looked at a couple of other opportunities. There's 3 other towers out there. Looked at leasing stuff out there, and the prices were just ridiculous. And TxDOT, their interest in this, as you might well guess, is the I-69 corridor. The guy that I'm working with, Gordon Harkey, he's one of 2 guys from TxDOT that manages the entire state's communication system for TxDOT. Before they can even begin anything regarding I-69, he's got to have communications ready to go. So he was particularly interested in this location because it will help them as much as it will help us. Plus, it will give us a brand new freestanding tower. It'll also give us a good link to our Tex Warren system, and of course, y'all also realize we'll be partnering with the city. But this document is just our intent to partner with TxDOT on this tower site. There'll be other documents to come for other connections as we move along, but that's what this one is. I've already got Paul Brown over at Flowers Davis, who's preparing all the paperwork as far as deeds and transfers. I think I may have sent that out to you, Judge. We got a new plat that was done by MTEX that we'll be able to use for all the documentations. It shows our new easement. It shows the new 60 by 60 tower site, and it'll also be available to be used for the transfer of the 5 acres over to Mr. Wheat. And
So we already have an easement negotiated to this spot.
we will, that's part of this new paperwork.
The landowner has allowed us to go through his property to access this site, although we don't have a deeded easement.
We just had what they call a prescriptive easement. It was just kind of a handshake deal. We've never had one on paper.
So TxDOT requires a deeded easement, and so we own 5 acres there.
Yes, sir.
Behind this man's property. we're going to give 60 by 60 to TxDOT and give the remainder to the man that's giving us the easement. So in exchange for the easement, he's gonna get 4+ acres. So we'll have a permanent easement from 449 back to the tower site.
Plus that acreage goes back on the tax rolls.
That's right. And we had no other purpose. It quickly falls off from this tower site, falls downhill into towards a creek. And
Yes,
so it's pretty
Our
unusable.
only purpose back in, I think it was back in the 80s for even buying this, was to put that tower there. Other than that, we wouldn't have needed it. And,
So some other.
and we could have gotten by with a whole lot less than 5 acres.
Sure. A larger picture, TxDOT has come in to help. They're allowing us to use their antenna over on their site, off the loop, isn't that right?
Yes,
So they'll have a repeater or some equipment on that tower site. They're completely building this tower, putting all the equipment on it. They're also paying the annual fee for the county and the city to be on the Tex Warren
yes,
system.
and that's briefly, it'll be more detailed in some of the documents to come, but that's briefly explained in here. They'll be picking up the tab on all of our maintenance costs and upgrades for the next 7 years on our radio system, which is gonna be a great deal, and after that, it'll be a year-by-year, contract. Yes, and they're picking up the tab on all that, and that was a substantial amount of money.
Do you remember that annual amount for that maintenance was like 140,000?
Yes, sir.
Does that seem right?
Yep,
So it's pretty significant.
But reading this, it talks about 7 years and then extended year to year.
yes.
So I guess my question would be, is TxDOT in year 8 gonna still take care of that yearly fee? Or is that something that's gonna fall back onto the
No,
county?
I expect it to just continue.
But it
'Cause
could fall
It
back to
could,
the
but I
county.
don't see that happening.
Well, I mean, there's no way to include that. You know, I'm not against it, I'm just gonna make sure that, you know, because we are giving up basically 4.5 acres for an easement and allowing TxDOT to put this tower and equipment out there. Yeah, it no cost to us, basically.
But then they're paying almost $1 million for us to be on the system.
Okay, but that's my question, I mean, is that for the life of the tower or the life of the system? They talk about the life of the equipment is 7 years, and I'm hoping sure that with what this costs, that our last system's how, you know, it's antiquated. So I'm just saying, at year 8, I would hate to see whoever's sitting up here have to then acquire 150,000, and by then it'll probably be 200,000 or 300,000 at the rate. I mean, it's still a good deal for us. Don't get me wrong. I'm just, you know, it's questions in my mind when I read through the document that I didn't know if we had an answer or not, or you know.
I don't think it's TxDOT's intent to say, hey, we're gonna pay for this forever. So they had to put a time limit on it.
Okay. There's a tremendous cost for the tower.
Sure.
Oh, it's gonna be over, by the time they build that one, plus take down our old one, which they've agreed to do for us, and that's an expense itself. It's well over $1 million.
Okay. So we're getting 7 years guaranteed.
Right.
Yes, sir.
Plus the tower and
Plus
access
that,
to.
You're talking about another 140 themselves, so
And
you're
this-
talking about almost, basically, almost
$1 million.
$2 million
Yeah, that's right.
And this,
investment.
and unless we go to some other form of communications, I mean, like osmosis, I really don't see anything like that happening, simply because this text warning system is something that has been needed for years. I mean, I've been dreaming about something like that since back in the 80s. We've got all these little individual radio systems that can't communicate with one another, and I'm going, man, I mean, that's just mind-boggling that we can't do that. Well, this text warning system is giving us the ability to do that, and it's going to not only help us, but it's going to help TxDOT, and that's why we're all partnering up on this deal. And I don't see anything but improvement to come out of it. And like I say, unless we go to some other means of communication that doesn't require towers, I don't think it's going anywhere. We're just going to continue on with that. So I think
The
we're,
part about this, you know, the state of Texas didn't enter into this if they didn't feel like this was a long-term solution.
Sure.
yes, sir.
Anyway, I mean, they're going, you know, they're basically, they don't worry about money, where it comes from, because they gonna have money. So, I mean, they've done their, and this is what they feel like for them is the best, so it's got to be good for us too,
Yes, sir.
so.
And I also, we're still working on the Lee Tower, and I fully expect some partnership with them on that one too.
On what's that?
The Lee Tower.
Oh, at Lee.
Mhm.
Well, they also showed some interest in a meeting, going north at some point in
Yes.
the future, that will also bleed over into that.
Yeah, they're gonna be talking to not only Marion County, but Panola County, which the locations that they're already looking at are gonna tremendously help take care of what the little dead spots that we do have in the southeast and northwest. So I don't expect, as time goes on, but anything to just to get better.
Yep.
Dwight, on this, 7-year, we're not gonna have to renegotiate that easement. Once we get the land exchange.
No, the easement will be
everything,
permanent.
Easement is
Easement's
permanent.
permanent,
We don't
yes.
have to renew that or anything.
No, sir, not at all.
Okay.
Yeah. And also, I've already talked with Luke. I took him out one day a couple of weeks ago and got him staged to push off actually a 90 by 90 area where that tower site will be. We want to not only clear the tower site itself, but we're going to be able to get a maintenance vehicle or whatever we need, mowers or whatever, all the way around it. So he's got that on his calendar as soon as he can get that knocked out.
We want to today, so in the next week or so, we'll be able to.
Oh, man, that'd be great. Okay. Any other questions?
I appreciate your efforts on this. I mean, it is jumping us ahead years.
Light years, yes, sir.
For, not only for our sheriff's department, our folks to communicate, but then for us to be able to communicate with other cities and counties. It's really a big deal. And then this, partnership with TxDOT is amazing, how generous
Yes.
they are in helping us, through all these processes. It's gonna be a great deal for the county.
I think I told y'all this story once before, but I'm particularly proud of what we're doing. When I was in Afghanistan, I was impressed by what the commanding general over there had to say in one of his orientation talks. He was very distressed by the fact that DOD has probably, next to the Pope, probably the largest budget on earth. And he said, we've got 5 branches of the service, and he said, still to this day, he said, we cannot communicate with one another. He said, that's just outrageous that we can't do that. So we are fixing to accomplish something that even the DOD has not even been able to do. This is gonna tie us in with all of our, area, local agencies. It's just gonna, be an improvement like, I just can't describe it, but I want to thank y'all for helping us get there on this. This is a big deal.
Well, again, it's your hard work that's got us here. We got the easy part. So thank you. Any other questions for Mr. Mays? Do we have a motion to approve?
Motion. Second.
Motion by Commissioner Ebarb, second by Commissioner Timmons. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, that passes 5-0.
Thank y'all.
Thank you. Item number 2 is consideration approval of the Enterprise Fleet Management quote 7428-735 for a 2023 Ford F-150 XLT 4x4 Super Crew cab for the Sheriff's Office Chief's truck. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Hatfield, second by Commissioner Malden. This is a replacement truck for the chief, and I believe the chief's truck is going maybe to Hilton. Is Hilton going to use his old truck, or are we turning,
I thought, he was telling me this morning that was a lease truck.
so it gets turned back
So it's probably
in?
getting turned back
All
in.
right, very good.
This is the chief deputy.
Chief Deputy, yes, sir. Hall's truck.
Hall Revis, yes, sir. All right, we have a motion and a second. Any other questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, that passes 5-0. Thank you, sir.
While I got the microphone, I know it hadn't been officially signed yet, but I personally want to thank all of y'all for what y'all have done for the sheriff's department. Y'all know the situation we were in, and it was not good. And I think what y'all are doing, plus what we were getting from the state, is going to give our young men and women the opportunity to continue their law enforcement career here and not having to worry about jumping ship and going somewhere else for a few more bucks so that they can feed their families. And that's super, and I thank y'all.
Thank you, sir. All right, on to our treasurer, and I understand Ms. Rushing is not with us today, but Ms. Haynes, I think you're gonna fill in for her. Item number 1 is consideration and action regarding the approval of the treasurer's monthly report for July and authorization to publish on the county website pursuant to local government code, section 114.026.
Okay, this is the July treasurer's report. As of July, we have $36,608,228.77 in cash and investments.
Is there a motion to approve the treasurer's monthly report for July 2023?
Motion. Second.
Motion by Commissioner Hatfield, second by Commissioner Timmons. Any questions or comments? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, motion passes 5-0. Item number 2 is consideration and approval of the Harrison County Treasurer's investment report for July 2023.
For July 2023, we have, for Texas class, we have a balance of $1,099,806.01, and we are earning 5.3245. For our Ameriprise investments, those are the ones that we have laddered, and so this is declining each month or so. We have $2,674,544.38. In Texas Bank and Trust Wealth Management, we have $24,977,000, which brings our investment total to $28,751,350.39. And our money market at Texas Bank and Trust, our balance is $7,917,524.22, and we have earned $58,040.57 with an interest rate of 4.99. On our Treasurer main account, we earned $1,092.79. We have looked at what our interest is, and we're going to be probably making just less than $1 million in interest this year alone. So we, with the rates and everything, we're very fortunate.
That is fantastic. Is there a motion to approve our treasurer's investment report for July 2023?
Motion.
We had a motion by Commissioner Hatfield, second by Commissioner Malden. Any questions or comments? I'll just say it's amazing. We're thankful for some high interest rates
Yes.
at this point. We have a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, passes 5-0. Item number 3 is consideration and approval of the quarterly fees paid to the state comptroller by the county treasurer for April through June 2023.
This is the second quarter calendar year, and we issued $157,025.24. $123,817.24 went to the state, and we were able to retain $33,208.
All right, is there a motion to approve our quarterly fees to the state comptroller? Motion by Commissioner Timmons, second by Commissioner Ebarb. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, that passes 5-0. Now for new business, item number 1 is consideration and action to discuss the proposed 2023 through 2024 tax rate for Harrison County and take a record vote if needed and schedule a public hearing on the tax increase to be held on September 5th, 2023 at 9 a.m. and authorize publication of the notice. So our proposed tax rate for this upcoming fiscal year, 2023 through 2024, is .2849 per $100 valuation. That is a reduction. Our current tax rate today is .311. I should have done this math already. This is just over 2 cents, just over a 2-cent reduction from our prior tax rate. So we'll be reducing the county's tax rate, the overall tax rate, to .2849. Is there a motion to approve our tax rate going to .2849 for fiscal year 2023 through 2024?
Motion.
Second.
We have a motion by Commissioner Hatfield, a second by Commissioner Timmons, and this will be a record vote. Is there any discussion before we take a vote?
Did you figure that reduction?
Yeah, I should have done it on my phone. I think it's .0262. Is that what you got?
2.6 cents.
Right, 2.6 cent reduction. Any other questions? We have a motion and a second. Commissioner Hatfield, you made the motion, so I'm assuming you're a yes vote on this.
Yes, sir.
Commissioner Timmons, you seconded. You're a yes vote on this.
Yes.
Sims is a yes vote. Commissioner Malden
Yes.
and Commissioner Ebarb.
Yes.
All right, motion passes 5-0. And so we will, that includes the scheduling of the public hearing to be held on September 5th, 2023 at 9 a.m. Item number 2 is consideration and action to approve the public hearings to be held on September 12th at 9 a.m. and authorize publication of said public notices as follows. So these will be public hearings plus, equally importantly, is the publication of the notices in the newspaper so that the public will be aware of these. So the public hearing to consider proposed budget, the 2023 through 2024 budget. Also a public hearing, and these will all be on September 12th. Public hearing to consider the county clerk's 2023 through 2024 proposed archive fee plan. Also a public hearing to consider the district clerk's 23 through 24 proposed technology fund plan, and the public hearing regarding the FY 23 through 24 proposed salaries, expenses, and other allowances for elected officials. Again, this is a action to approve those public hearings and publication in the newspaper. Is there a motion to approve?
Motion to approve. Second.
Motion by Commissioner Timmons, second by Commissioner Ebarb. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, motion passes 5-0. Item number 3 is consideration and action to set September 12th, 2023 at 9 a.m. for the approval of the adoption of the county budget for Harrison County for fiscal year 23 through 2024. Is there a motion to approve?
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Malden, second by Commissioner Timmons. Any questions, comments? September 12th will be a big day for us. Motion and a second. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, motion passes 5-0. Item number 4 is consideration and action regarding the approval of the Harrison County Employee Benefit Plan Document Amendment Number 1. Thank you, Ms. Johnson, for coming up and telling us about this.
So this is at the request of GPA, which is now Imagine 360, and this is just some language added to provide clarification on when a retiree rehires, health insurance benefits begin, whether it's immediately upon rehire or within the or after the 90 days like everyone else.
So right now, if we have a retiree that's on the county furnished health plan, they've retired, they're on, it's not Blue Cross, what is it?
It's Imagine 360 or GPA.
Not if they're retired.
Yes, it's if they're under
If they
six.
retained it, if they were here prior to.
It's United Healthcare.
That's for over 65s, but if they're under 65,
They're still on-
they stay on GPA
Okay.
until they turn 65.
All right. Sorry, thank you for clearing that
Only
up.
the retirees that were here prior to 2010 that were vested take
Right,
United Healthcare at retirement. Correct?
that's right.
Well, actually, I think January 24th, 2011.
Whatever it
Yeah.
was, yeah.
But if they're under 65, they stay on the county's health plan, just like a regular employee, and they pay their portion. And then when they turn 65, they move over to the Medicare supplement
So
if they
if
choose
they were
to.
on county furnished insurance, then they come back to work for the county, after 90 days, they've been here 90 days, they're off of that retiree insurance and back on the county's normal plan, is what this is saying. Is that right?
Yes, it's actually the same plan, it's just their code classification, so it just changes codes.
Retiree back to active
Yep.
employee. All right. Is that clear as mud to everybody? Yes. Y'all got it?
Pretty much.
No, it's straightforward. I appreciate you bringing this to us. Is there a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Timmons, second by Commissioner Ebarb. Any other questions or comments? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, that passes 5-0. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Next up is consideration and action regarding the approval of a resolution authorizing the mayor of the city of Waskom and the emergency management coordinator to amend the Harrison County 2019 mitigation action plan to add the following. Hazards addressed, flooding to mitigate damages during future storm events by installing new gravity sewer lines and manholes to prevent repeated inflow and infiltration during flooding events. So let me tell you a little bit about this. The city of Waskom is going after a grant that will help shore up their sewer system. Currently, they're having problems during a flood event with stormwater swamping their sewer. So this will prevent they call it I&I, infiltration and inflow of rainwater into their sewer system. It'll prevent that so that it's only regular sewer that needs to be treated in there. And similar to how the city of Marshall does on their storm sewers, you got rain runoff that doesn't go into the sewer system, it just goes on into a creek somewhere, just where rainwater ought to go. So they needed to amend the county's hazard mitigation plan to include this so that they would be eligible for the grant. So that's the purpose of us today, including this amendment in our plan so that Waskom could go after this grant funding to shore up their sewer lines. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Hatfield, second by Commissioner Timmons. Any questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, motion passes 5-0. Item number 6, subject to ratification in open court, the approval of the request by Willoughby Juvenile Center to send 2 employees to Little Rock, Arkansas to the Handle with Care Instructor Recertification Program. Is there a motion to approve?
Motion. Second.
Motion by Commissioner Timmons, second by Commissioner Hatfield, and certainly this is pretty self-explanatory. Juvenile Center wants to send a couple of our employees there up to some training to better serve our juvenile, our youth there in Willoughby. We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, motion passes 5-0. Number 7, subject to ratification in open court, the approval of the request by the auditor's office to transfer of funds in the amount of $200,000 for payment of medical claims. Motion by Commissioner Malden, second by Commissioner Ebarb. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, motion passes 5-0. Number 8, subject to ratification in open court, the approval of the resolution authorizing Harrison County to settle its pending claims with Volkswagen in the amount of $50,000 and authorizing the county judge to execute any and all documents necessary to participate in the settlement of the clean diesel litigation case.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Ebarb, second by Commissioner Timmons. And you guys will remember several years ago, it looks like 2017, I think it started even before then, Volkswagen claimed that their diesel engines were clean. Come to find out they weren't clean. Many counties and states sued. We joined in that suit. Harrison County's portion of the negotiated settlement is $50,000, and this will authorize us to accept, and this is on the recommendation of our attorney that represented us, to accept that settlement.
Is that paid out in payments?
No, I believe it's I believe it is just one lump sum.
That's after legal fees.
I'm not certain. It looks like it is.
Yellow and Smith.
I'll have to double check on that. But this will authorize us to enter into a settlement for $50,000. We have a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye. Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, motion passes 5-0. Number 9, subject to ratification in open court, the approval of the payment to Reynolds and Kay per change order number 2 on 5 Notch Road, which is County Road 1030, in the amount of $33,022, and change order number 3 on Page Road in the amount of $800.30. Is there a motion to approve?
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Malden, second by Commissioner Timmons. Mr. Davis, do you mind refreshing us on what these change orders were for? Was it the length that we had missed?
Yes, and the width on 5 Notch from Sunset going north up to Bill Huffman's place. The road went from 21 foot to a little over 30 foot to tie into the curb and gutter. Plus there was always water standing there, so we had to use extra cement, and plus the length was a little off, but the majority of it was tied into the curb and gutter.
And $800 on Page Road.
Yeah, that was just a delivery thing, you know, most of those cement trucks, they come in at supposed to be 25 tons, some come in at 26, 27, so that's where that 800 comes from, you know, it's hard to put out raw materials at an exact, you know, rate.
All right.
Have them shipped in at an exact,
So we got an extra $800 worth of cement.
that's right.
All right, we'll take it. We have a motion and a second. Any other questions or comments? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, that passes 5-0. Number 10, subject to ratification in open court, the approval of the purchase of 5 M500 ICV system V300 Wi-Fi docks SPS for $30,075, 5 Video Manager M500 annual device licenses $975, and 5 CBL Wi-Fi WHCL ANT NMO 17L $300. This is quote number 2287886 from Motorola Solutions for a total amount of $31,350 by the Sheriff's Department. These, I believe, you might help me out, but I believe these are new camera systems for new vehicles. The old camera systems were obsolete, not worth replacing into the new vehicles. They weren't syncing up with y'all have an internet system over there where you pull in, it syncs all your video camera onto the hard drive there, and it wasn't doing it. So these 5 new camera systems for 5 new vehicles, and the Sheriff's Department did have these funds in their budget to pay for it. We're just approving payment here. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved. Second.
Motion by Commissioner Hatfield, second by Commissioner Timmons. Any questions or comments? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, motion passes 5-0. If there is nothing else, is there a motion to adjourn?
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Timmons, second by Commissioner Malden. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, motion passes 5-0. It is 10 a.m. We're adjourned. Thank you all.